I wouldn't say it was better than I expected. It was about what I expected, to be honest, when it came to a Resident Evil game. But again, there's definitely a lot more room for improvement because some of the bad things that they did them really bad, and it's just like, why? Like, let's talk about the enemies, for instance. There's probably like only 8 to 10 enemies in the entire game. You're looking at
Yeah,
lichens, and this is not including bosses. I believe that you're looking at the lichens. You're looking at the
the
flying
vampires.
goblin things. No,
Uh,
not you. Won't even count the vampires. I count all the vampires as literally bosses. So I mean, those
Just
are
the
I
regular
wouldn't even count them.
vampires that just come out of
Yeah,
the ground.
I would consider those zombies because they're coming out of the ground.
Okay, so then they'll
Like
be
like in the
likened.
cells, like the one at the bottom of the castle and the cells and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
think
that.
they're
Like when
called
you're going
like
through the dungeon.
yeah, I think they're called maracas or something like that. Because they're like
Yeah,
they're
but
mutated women. That's what I did. That what I read on with the lore.
I see, I see. I must have skipped a book or something because I didn't really read about them. But so you have them, which I would classify as like the
Yeah,
zombie in the game. So like in the zombie, you have the flying bat, and you have the like different variations of that really big kind of like zombie with that you have to shoot in specific areas.
yeah, that tank dude. I
Um,
think it's called like a Sada or something like that. His name starts with the S or something.
yeah, so that's already five. And I would just classify all of the different variations in the same boat as the one because I mean you just have to shoot a spot on them on
Yeah,
all of them. So
they'd
it's
be
not
just
really
like
a big deal.
subcategories.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
then in all honesty, you have the big guys that are wielding axes.
Hmm.
There's about three of them in the game, and then you have the big dogs, the big werewolves that are on all four legs. That's about seven. That is seven enemies in the
Yeah,
entire game, not like excluding bosses, and that's just too little, especially considering that one of the enemies you see mainly throughout the entire game as you go back to the village, like a new one always like kind of pops up or something like that. It's always a werewolf variation or something like that
right.
that pops up as you go back to the village. And then the lichen den, it's just all lichens and stuff like that. And
Where
the
are the
two
horses
enemies
that
that
they
are
rode
like,
on?
yeah, exactly. Like they
Yeah,
rode in on horses and stuff like that. Like there's just so much mixed like missed opportunity when it came to like enemy types. Well, I mean, I guess it is like they can't get too crazy with it, but I mean they were like
yeah,
super like frugal when it came to like the enemies because like two of the sections in the entire game you don't see any enemies except for the boss and all you're doing is fighting the boss. Like two whole enemies or like two whole sections in the entire game is just fighting is just basically dedicated to the boss arena. Like two whole sections.
yeah,
And absolutely blows my mind why they decided to do that because realistically you could get through like if you played the game, if you realistically get through the game in like 2 hours, and that's being generous. If you have like all your ammo and stuff infinite or something like that,
yeah.
it was just
I was able to do in
go ahead.
about two and a half hours.
Yeah, it's just
I would say too. So I definitely know what you mean in regards to that because obviously, like with the House of Beneventio, there was no enemies. You just couldn't use your weapons. I did kind of like that because it gave like the Outlast. I think it's called Outlast, the Outlast vibes, where you're in that hospital, all you could do is run and hide, and it was scary as shit too with the baby. I remember both of us
yeah.
when we
No,
were
no.
going
Don't get
through
me
that.
wrong.
That scared
It
us.
was definitely scary. I was definitely
Yeah,
scared because I didn't know you could hide in the cabinet. So
and that thing was freaky too.
when you go all the way down and you get to the very end where you pick up the thing and then the baby starts coming after you and basically it's either you go hide in the cabinet until the baby leaves or you run past the baby. The first time I did it I tried to run past the baby. It killed me instantly. Second time you're like we were in a chat and you're like just go into the cabinet and I was like, okay, I didn't know you could go into the cabinet but you never kill the baby, so I mean that
Yeah,
thing's just fucking that's just there. It's just like it just disappears, which is also weird because I thought you would have taken that out. I thought that would have been a boss fight or something like that. That's not the boss fight. I thought that thing was the boss. Like I honestly thought when I first saw that thing, I thought that thing was the boss. But it ended up being the actual girl who was like blindfolded, who was like holding
Yeah.
the doll, and I was just like, yeah, that just doesn't make like, again, it was a missed like opportunity. Like they tried to make it they tried to make that section like I would say the scary section
Hmm.
of the game, and I think it fell a little flat towards the end because I guess there was no actual boss fight. Like you didn't get your weapons
Yeah.
back or anything like that, and she didn't turn into anything crazy. Like it was just you stabbing a doll in the eye, and that was it. After you found the doll.
Yeah, I felt like they could have done more there. I do kind of wish they had the weapons. I did find out because in the notes to or the so the four books that we were talking about before, that's at the very end when you're playing as Chris. When it talked about the House of Beneventio, she had the ability to uh infect people like hallucinogens through that garden area that you first walked through that was all misty. Those flowers and everything, they emit spores that will causes Ethan to hallucinate. And so that's kind of what the baby was. It was like a hallucination, but it was real enough that she could kill him with it and
Yeah.
everything. But yeah,
Okay.
I felt like they could have done more because literally when I've played it now, like I've played, I think I played through the game like 6 or 7 times now. But now when I play, I literally just go upstairs into the bedroom, stab. I go upstairs instead of going the long way following the blood. I just do a quick 180 right through the other door, stab, and then she goes to the same spot every time at the front. For the third time, you just go stab, and then it's over.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
you had the
Yeah.
whole Moreau. There wasn't any enemies there. You just had to keep on running through the area with the water.
Yeah. Yeah. That was. I guess there's the puzzle of like I don't know like that like I said those two full areas are dedicated just to chasing a boss for the most part,
Yeah,
and then the Moreau boss fight isn't even that like entertaining either because
that one was
you
pissing me
shoot him
off.
like five. Yeah, you shoot him a couple of times and then he runs and he goes on top and he shoots like a bunch of like acid rain
Yeah,
and rinse and repeat, and then he does like, and then he barricades the arena sometimes. But if you literally are in a good enough spot, you could stop him from barricading it, or it pushes you onto the proper side that you want to be on to go collect the rest of the stuff. Like
yeah.
it was just easy like that. Like both of those bosses were just super easy, and I don't know, it was weird. And then let's be honest, the Dimitrescu castle was also basically a giant like boss arena for the most part.
Yeah.
It was the three girls that chased you around. Her three daughters, they just chased you around and you killed them. And when you killed them, it was actually really easy. It took like maybe like 5 or 6 shotgun shots before they died, and like
Yeah.
that was it.
If you
Like
do it on Village of Shadows, they're definitely a lot more difficult, but I have the MCX Infinite maxed out, so I would unload all 80 rounds and they'd be dead.
yeah, I mean, even then, you're not playing Village of Shadows right away. You're probably playing casual, and you're by
Yeah.
the time you're done with the game. But if you want to play it again, you'll have probably something unlocked infinite, which is great because you finish enough challenges throughout the game, and if you're smart enough and you pick the right weapon, you can definitely get one infinite weapon on your second playthrough, which makes everything so much easier.